The class was told to forge a blade. The human girl sharpened a piece of bone. The students were from different planets, each one carrying strange tools in their hands. Some of the students had 4 arms, some had scales, and some had wings that barely fit in the room. But the teacher did not care about appearances. Today, the lesson was important, forging a blade. Everyone will make a weapon, the teacher said in a voice that rumbled like distant thunder. It will show your skill and strength. You may use metal, stone, or bone, but it must be sharp. It must be worthy. The students glanced at each other. The metal workstations gleamed under the artificial lights. Hammers and tongs lay ready. For many, the task was simple. Their species had weapons in their blood. They could shape steel with a thought or use their claws to carve bone. But for a human girl named Lily, it was different. Lily had arrived on this planet just a year ago. She was small compared to most of the other students. Her hands were soft, and she had no claws, no special strength, and certainly no wings. The other students stared at her now, whispering in their strange languages. Some looked surprised, some smirked. "You're going to fail," said a tall alien with green scales named Torin. His voice hissed. "No human can make a weapon worth anything here." Lily's cheeks burned. She wanted to answer, to shout back, but she remembered her father's words before she left Earth. "Lily, never underestimate what your mind can do, even if your body is small." She took a deep breath. She looked at the pile of materials in front of her. Metal was heavy. Bone was light. Stone was brittle. Her fingers traced the rough edges of a broken animal bone she had found outside the forge. It was pale and uneven, but it was all she could handle. The teacher moved on, watching the students closely. Sparks flew as alien hands shaped metal effortlessly. One student with 6 arms hammered a sword with speed that made Lily dizzy. Another used her tail to spin a knife until it shone. The room filled with the sound of hammers, fire, and whispers of frustration. Lily bent over the bone. She held it gently and studied it. She had never forged a blade before, not really. But she had read about weapons, about how the edge was more important than the material. She knew she could sharpen, and she knew she could focus. She grabbed a rough grinding stone and began rubbing the bone against it slowly. Sparks did not fly. The bone did not shine immediately, but Lily kept going. She worked patiently, inch by inch, remembering every lesson she had ever read in books and every story her father told her about survival. Torin watched her and laughed softly. "Patience won't save you, human. You have no strength." Lily ignored him. She remembered another lesson from Earth. Humans were clever. Humans could see patterns that others could not. She tilted the bone, finding the natural curve in it. She found the soft spots, the strong spots, and she began shaping it carefully. Her hands ached and sweat ran down her forehead, but she kept working. Around her, other students were almost finished. Metal swords were polished, stone knives were smooth, and some even had strange designs glowing with energy. Lily had only a piece of bone, rough and thin, but it had shape. Slowly, the edge became sharper. She tested it carefully against a piece of wood. The edge cut cleanly. Not perfectly, but it cut. The teacher walked past her station. His long, dark eyes studied the human girl. "Interesting," he muttered. Other students heard it and turned. Torin sneered, thinking it was pity, but Lily felt a small spark of pride. Hours passed. The air became thick with heat. Some students became impatient and struck their materials harder, damaging them. Lily stayed calm. She worked slowly, using every moment to perfect the edge. She imagined herself in a fight, imagining the bone slicing not just wood but the defense of an enemy. She imagined holding power even if it was only in her small hands. Finally, the teacher clapped his hands. "Time is up. Show your blades." The students arranged their creations in front of him. Metal gleamed. Stone sparkled. Some edges glowed with strange alien energy. Lily placed her piece of bone carefully on the table. It was small. It was simple. It had no shine, no special glow, and yet it had balance and an edge that promised sharpness. The teacher's eyes lingered on it longer than on any other. "This is unusual," he said. "Tell me, human, what is this?" "It is a blade," Lily said softly. "It is small, but it can cut. I shaped it to use its strengths, not to pretend to be metal." The teacher nodded slowly. "Many think strength is in size, many think skill is in speed. But sometimes patience and understanding the material is more important." He looked at the other students. "Notice how she studied her tool, she adapted. She used her mind, not just her muscles." Torrin's jaw tightened. He looked at Lily, his eyes full of disbelief and anger. "A human beat us with bone," he hissed. "Not beat," said the teacher, "but she found her way. And that is the lesson. Every species has its strength. Today, humans have shown thought can rival raw power." Lily's chest swelled with pride. She felt small, yes, but clever. She felt her heart beating fast, not from fear but from excitement. She had done what others thought impossible. She had taken something simple, something weak, and made it work. After the lesson, the students left the forge, talking among themselves. Some congratulated her quietly, others glared. Torrin stalked past, muttering under his breath. Lily smiled faintly. She knew this was only the beginning. The universe was full of challenges, and her mind was her weapon. She held the bone in her hands as she left the forge. It felt light but heavy with meaning. One day she would forge real blades, real weapons, and she would show that humans, though small, could survive anywhere. Outside, the twin suns of the alien planet hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the city. Lily walked through the streets, thinking of her next challenge. She would need more than patience to survive here, but today she had proven something important. She could adapt, she could endure, and she could overcome. Somewhere in the distance, a shadow watched her from the rooftops. Lily did not notice, but her presence, small and clever, had already caught attention. Not all eyes were friendly, but she had learned something more valuable than metalwork or bonework. She had learned that even the smallest human could leave a mark in a universe full of giants. And with that thought, Lily smiled. Tomorrow, she would face new trials. But tonight she held her simple blade and felt, for the first time, that she belonged. The next morning, the air inside the forge smelled sharper, like metal and smoke mixed with tension. The students returned, some with pride, some with doubt. Lily carried her bone blade carefully, wrapping it in cloth to keep the edge safe. She had slept little, thinking about yesterday's lesson and how the teacher had surprised everyone by praising her work. Torrin was already there. He was stretching his scaled arms and sneering at her from across the room. "You think your little stick will help you today," he said, his voice low and dangerous. "We will see how clever you are when we fight for real." Lily looked at him calmly. "I don't need to prove anything," she said softly. "I just need to do my best." The teacher entered the room, moving with a slow, deliberate step. Sparks flew from the ground as he tapped the floor, and the students straightened. "Today," he said, "we will test your blades. Not by making them, but by using them. You will fight in pairs. You will learn how to defend yourself and how to adapt in combat. Remember, the best weapon is not the strongest, but the one you understand." The students whispered excitedly. Many of them had never faced real combat. On their home planets, training was often simulated. But this teacher was strict. He expected results. "You," he said, pointing at Lily, "will fight someone who is strong and fast. Do not underestimate them. Use your mind." Lily nodded, gripping her bone blade tightly. Across the room, Torrin was chosen as her opponent. His scaled body was long and powerful. His claws were sharp, and his tail could sweep across the floor like a whip. Lily felt a small pang of fear, but she held it back. She remembered the words of her father, "Use your mind, not just your strength." The fight began. The students circled each other. Torrin lunged first, his claw aimed at her chest. Lily ducked just in time, feeling the air rush over her head. She rolled to the side and swung her bone blade carefully. It tapped against his arm. Not strong, but enough to make him flinch. Torin roared, surprised that a human could move so fast. He attacked again, faster this time, swinging with both claws. Lily dodged, jumped, and spun. She noticed the pattern in his attacks. He always struck with the right first, then the left. She adjusted her stance, keeping low and watching. "You can't beat me," Torin hissed. "You're too weak." Lily smiled slightly. "Strength isn't everything," she said. She waited, and then when Torin swung too high, she tapped his leg with the bone blade. It made him stumble. Not seriously hurt, but it showed that she could strike with precision. Other students were watching. Some whispered, amazed. They had expected the human girl to fall immediately, but Lily moved with careful timing, using her small size to her advantage. She darted around, using her speed to confuse him. Torin roared again and tried a spinning attack. Lily anticipated it. She rolled under his tail and pushed her blade against his leg again, this time cutting a small line in the thick scales. Torin growled in pain and surprise. The class gasped. No human had ever left a mark on him before. The teacher nodded, watching silently. "Adaptation," he said to himself. "Observation, precision. The human learns quickly." Torin spun toward her, anger flashing in his eyes. He tried to grab her, but Lily jumped back. Then she remembered the walls of the room. They were filled with hanging chains and poles. Using them, she could create obstacles. She swung her blade lightly, tapping chains to distract him. Torin turned too late, almost hitting the chains instead of her. The fight went on. Lily did not strike hard, but she struck smart. She avoided his claws and tail, and she targeted weak spots. Slowly, she made him tired. His swings became slower, his movements heavier. Lily's small blade cut more and more, not to kill, but to control the fight. Finally, Torin stumbled off balance. Lily lunged carefully, tapping the edge of her bone against his shoulder. He fell to the ground with a heavy thump. Silence filled the room. The students stared. No human had ever defeated Torin in combat before. The teacher walked forward. "This is not about the size of your weapon," he said, looking at the bone blade in her hands. "It is about understanding it, knowing it, and using your mind. The human girl shows what true skill is." Torin got up slowly, glaring at her, but his expression had changed. He was angry, yes, but he was also impressed. You use tricks," he said, voice low. "Not tricks," Lily said calmly. "I just observed, I adapted. You hit where you were strong. I hit where I could, that's all." The other students murmured among themselves. Some looked jealous, some looked thoughtful. The message was clear. Even the smallest, weakest species could survive with intelligence. After the fight, the teacher assigned new tasks. "Tomorrow you will create weapons again," he said. "But this time you will work in teams. Humans, aliens, everyone together. You must learn to cooperate and understand different strengths." Lily walked back to her station, her blade in hand. She was exhausted, but she felt proud. She had done what she thought impossible. She had defeated someone stronger, faster, and larger. She realized that survival was not about brute force. It was about thinking, observing, and adapting. As she rested, Torin came near her quietly. "Human," he said softly, "you fight well. I did not expect it." Lily nodded. "Thank you," she said. "I just try to do my best." Torin studied her for a moment, then turned and walked away. For the first time, Lily noticed a small respect in his eyes. It was not friendship, but it was acknowledgement. In a world where she felt small, even that was important. That evening, Lily looked at her bone blade. It was simple, unassuming, yet it had carried her through her first real combat. She touched the edge carefully, imagining how she could improve it, how she could sharpen it further, and how she could use her mind even more in the future. The other students returned to their quarters. Some laughed and joked. Some complained about their own failures. Lily stayed in the forge a little longer, studying. She realized that she had a choice. She could be small and weak, or she could be clever and strong in ways others did not understand. She chose the latter. Outside, the twin suns had almost set. Shadows stretched across the alien city. Lily's mind raced with ideas. How could she make her bone blade stronger? How could she defend herself better? How could she survive in a world full of giants? She knew one thing clearly. She had already begun to prove that humans, though small, could survive anywhere. And that knowledge gave her courage she had never felt before. The next day, the forge was alive with sound and movement. Sparks flew from every station as students hammered, carved, and shaped materials. The teacher moved between the workstations like a shadow, his long coat brushing the floor. He stopped in front of Lily. "Today, you will work in teams," he said. "Each team will forge a weapon together. You will combine strength, speed, and intelligence. Humans, do not be afraid. Aliens, do not underestimate. Cooperation is the key to survival." Lily nodded. She glanced around at the other students. Torin, the green-scaled fighter, was assigned to her team. Another student, a small, four-armed alien named Kiri, also joined them. Kiri had sharp claws for carving and quick fingers for fine details. Lily felt a mixture of nerves and excitement. Their task was to forge a medium-sized blade that could survive combat and still be light enough for speed. Metal, bone, and stone were all available, but the teacher warned them. Your team must decide which material works best. You must think together or your weapon will fail. The team gathered around the workstation. Torin immediately reached for metal, lifting a heavy ingot with ease. Kiri picked up stone, tapping it gently with her claws to feel its strength. Lily held her bone blade, still rough from yesterday, and laid it on the table. "I think we should use a combination," Lily said, trying to make her voice firm. "Metal for the edge, bone for flexibility, stone for balance if needed." Torin frowned. "Bone is weak," he said. "It will break, only metal matters." "But bone can bend," Lily said. "Metal can be too heavy. If we combine them, we can make something fast, strong, and sharp." Kiri nodded. "I like the idea. It is clever." Torin growled but did not argue further. Lily smiled inwardly. She knew she had to prove her idea through action, not words. The team began. Torin hammered the metal into shape, sparks flying with each strike. Lily used her bone to carve grooves in the metal, adjusting the curve and balance. Kiri polished edges and checked for cracks. Slowly, the weapon took shape. As they worked, another team approached for a challenge. The teacher had arranged a sparring session to test progress. Lily watched carefully. She noticed how the other teams moved. Some relied purely on brute strength. Others relied on flashy energy, but none seemed to think about balance or speed. "Focus on precision," Lily said to her team. "Strike where it matters, don't just swing hard." Torin grunted, but he followed her instructions. At first, the hammering felt rough. The metal did not fit perfectly with the bone, but Lily kept adjusting. Inch by inch, the pieces aligned. The blade began to look unusual, almost fragile to the eye, but Lily could feel the potential in her hands. Finally, the weapon was ready. It was a strange combination, a thin metal edge reinforced with bone and small stone inlays for weight and balance. Lily picked it up carefully. It felt light but strong. It felt alive. The teacher walked to their station. "Interesting design," he said. "Do you understand how it works?" "Yes," Lily said. "The metal cuts, the bone absorbs shock, and the stones keep the balance. It is fast, but it can survive hits." The teacher nodded. "Good, now test it in combat." The sparring began. Other teams brought their weapons. Heavy metal swords, sharp stone daggers, even energy blades that hummed with power. Lily's team faced them bravely. Torin held the front, striking with powerful swings, while Lily moved around him, using her small size and speed to dodge attacks. Kiri's four arms helped block multiple blows at once. The combined strategy surprised many opponents. Where a strong alien relied on muscle, Lily's small team used coordination. The unusual blade worked perfectly. Its metal edge cut easily, the bone absorbed blows, and the weight of the stones allowed quick movements. One alien student with massive strength charged at them. He swung a huge hammer, expecting to crush everything. Lily jumped aside, tapping the weapon lightly against his legs. Torin followed with a controlled strike. Kiri blocked a side attack, and together they forced the giant alien to stumble. He fell to the floor with a heavy thump. The other students stared in shock. No human had ever fought in this way before, let alone lead a team to victory against a stronger opponent. Lily's heart raced. She felt fear, yes, but also exhilaration. This was more than survival. It was a lesson in strategy, teamwork, and understanding the strengths of others. After the sparring, the teacher gathered the students. Today, the human girl and her team showed something remarkable. Intelligence and cooperation can surpass brute strength. Strength alone is not enough in the universe. Adaptation and teamwork are what will keep you alive. Torin looked at Lily, his green scales shining in the dim light. He did not speak, but his eyes held a small spark of respect. Lily returned his gaze steadily. She knew she had earned it, even if it was only a little. Later, when the forge quieted, Lily cleaned her weapon carefully. The metal edge gleamed under the soft lights. She ran her finger along the bone, feeling its smoothness. She thought about how small details mattered, how the smallest adjustment could make a big difference. Kiri watched her silently. "You are clever," she said. "I have never seen a human think like this." Lily smiled. "Thank you, but cleverness alone is not enough. You have to act and you have to work with others." Kiri nodded. "I will remember that." As the day ended, the students left the forge. Outside, the twin suns had set, leaving a purple sky. Lily walked carefully, carrying her unusual blade. She thought about tomorrow, about new lessons, new challenges. She had learned something important. The universe favored those who could think, adapt, and cooperate. Strength alone would not survive. That night she lay on her small cot and studied the weapon. She imagined future battles, imagining how she could combine more materials, how she could sharpen edges without breaking them, how she could use her mind to survive where others failed. She knew the road ahead would be dangerous. Many students would try to outdo her. Many planets would test her. But she also knew something more powerful. Humans could adapt, and with adaptation, they could overcome anything. Somewhere outside, Torin practiced with his own weapons, silent but determined. Lily knew he would come back stronger, faster, and more careful. That was good. It meant her lessons were not over. She had to keep learning, keep growing, keep proving that humans, though small, could thrive in a world of giants. The stars twinkled in the alien sky. Lily held her blade close, feeling a strange sense of pride and hope. She had survived her first real challenges, and she had done it not with brute strength, but with thought, patience, and courage. Tomorrow would bring new tests, new opponents, and new lessons. But tonight, she slept with the knowledge that even a small human could make a difference in a universe full of powerful creatures. And that thought filled her with determination. The morning air was heavy with smoke and the smell of heated metal. The forge was alive with clanging and sparks. Today, the teacher had announced a special challenge. "You will face real danger today," he said. "Your skills will be tested not just by craft but by survival. You will fight in a simulation arena. Only those who adapt will succeed." Lily felt her stomach tighten. She had faced challenges before, but this felt different. This was not a simple sparring session. This was a test of everything she had learned: speed, observation, teamwork, and courage. Her team gathered around their workstation. Torin adjusted his stance, muscles tense. Kiri's forearms twitched as she prepared her tools. Lily held her bone metal stone blade carefully, running her fingers over the smooth edges. She had slept little, thinking about strategy and timing. The teacher gestured to the arena. It was large and circular, filled with obstacles, walls, chains, and uneven ground. Mechanical targets moved unpredictably, some carrying simulated weapons. The challenge was clear: survive and reach the center, where a small chest waited with a prize that symbolized mastery. The students entered the arena. Many looked confident, relying on their species, natural strength or speed. Lily felt small among them, but she reminded herself of the lessons she had learned. Strength was not everything. Observation and adaptation were more important. The arena doors closed with a heavy thud. Immediately, mechanical drones activated, flying across the field, swinging simulated weapons and firing harmless but sharp energy bolts. Students scattered, dodging and attacking. Lily ducked behind a low wall, watching the movements of the drones. She noticed a pattern. They paused briefly after every swing, then moved unpredictably. Using that, she calculated her timing. When a drone swung at her, she rolled to the side, tapping her blade carefully to deflect the energy bolt. It was enough to redirect its path toward a wall, breaking a section of metal plating. Torin shouted, charging at a larger drone, swinging with brute force. He smashed it with ease, but another drone targeted him immediately. Kiri used her forearms to block multiple attacks at once, moving faster than the eye could follow. Lily realized she could use the environment more cleverly. She ran toward a chain hanging from above, swinging lightly to avoid a drone's strike. Landing behind it, she cut a rope holding a metal panel. It fell, creating a barrier between her and the drones. She tapped her blade against another loose chain, swinging it to hit a drone on the other side. The drone spun out of control and crashed. Her small size and careful thinking allowed her to move faster than the bigger students. While others relied on strength and speed, she relied on precision and planning. She moved from cover to cover, cutting ropes and triggering obstacles to slow the drones and other students who were careless. Suddenly, a large mechanical creature dropped from above. It had heavy armor and swung a massive blade. Many students froze, unsure how to react. Lily assessed quickly. The creature's movements were slow, predictable, and heavy. She signaled Torin and Kiri. "Don't fight it head-on. Use the chains and walls. Force it to stumble." They nodded, understanding immediately. Lily ran along a low wall, tapping her blade to create noise, distracting the creature. Torin drew it toward a chain trap. The creature's heavy swing got caught in the chains. Kiri blocked another attack while the creature struggled to free itself. Lily jumped onto a platform above, tapping a loose panel to fall onto the creature. Sparks flew. It roared mechanically, but its movement slowed. The other students watched in amazement. They had never seen a human lead a group strategically like this. Many tried to mimic her, but without her observation skills and careful timing, they failed. Finally, the creature collapsed. Lily's team moved toward the center of the arena. Mechanical drones still attacked, but by now they could anticipate the timing. Lily's blade tapped and sliced at weak points, redirecting drones into traps. Torin blocked heavy attacks, Kiri disarmed smaller threats, and together they moved with precision. When they reached the chest at the center, the teacher's voice echoed. "You have survived not because of brute force, but because of intelligence, observation, and teamwork. This is the essence of survival in the universe." The chest opened, revealing a simple device. It was a symbol of mastery, a badge of honor. Lily picked it up, feeling its weight. She looked at her team. Torin's green eyes met hers. For the first time, he smiled faintly, nodding in respect. Kiri clapped her multiple hands quietly, showing admiration. Lily felt proud, but she also felt cautious. This was only a simulation. Real dangers in the universe would not pause for mistakes. She knew that every skill she learned here was preparation for challenges far beyond this forge. The teacher continued, "Today's lesson is more than combat. It is understanding limits, using intelligence, and adapting to circumstances. Even a small human can survive if they learn faster than others. Remember this." After the session, the students returned to their quarters. Lily cleaned her blade, carefully examining every edge. She thought about the patterns she had noticed, the timing of attacks, and how she had used the environment to her advantage. Each detail mattered. Each observation could be the difference between life and death. Torin approached her quietly. "You think too much," he said, almost as a warning. "But it works. I will not forget this." Lily nodded. "Thinking is the advantage humans have. We may be small, but our minds move faster than our bodies." Kiri smiled. "You are teaching all of us human. Even the strongest cannot see what you see." Lily's heart swelled with quiet pride. She realized that her journey was not only about survival, but also about inspiring others to think beyond their natural advantages. Humans were underestimated, but that was their strength. They could surprise, adapt, and endure where others relied solely on instinct or brute force. That night, Lily sat by a window looking at the stars above the alien city. She held her blade, feeling its light weight and sharp edge. The twin moons reflected in her eyes. She imagined the challenges ahead, real battles, alien planets, threats she could not yet see. But she also imagined the possibilities. She could survive. She could adapt. She could thrive. The forge had taught her more than combat or crafting. It had taught her to observe, to think, to lead. She had earned respect in a world that underestimated her, and tomorrow, she knew, the universe would demand more. As she closed her eyes, Lily felt determination settle in her chest. No matter how small, no matter how fragile, humans had a place in the stars. And she, with her clever mind and careful hands, would make sure she claimed it. The sun rose slowly over the alien city, painting the sky in red and orange. Today, the forge was quiet at first, but a tense energy filled the air. The teacher had called the final challenge. "Today," he said, "you will face the ultimate test. You will fight not only against each other, but against the environment itself. Only those who combine intelligence, skill, and courage will survive." Lily felt a mixture of fear and excitement. She had learned much, but she knew this challenge would push her further than ever before. Her team was ready. Torin adjusted his scales, flexing his muscles. Kiri's forearms moved nervously, and Lily gripped her blade tightly, feeling its familiar weight in her hands. She had sharpened it carefully the night before, testing its edges and balance. The teacher led them to the arena. This time it was massive, stretching for several kilometers. Towers, cliffs, swinging platforms, and pools of molten metal formed obstacles. Mechanical drones patrolled the area, more advanced than before. Some could jump, others could fly, and some could even sense movement before it happened. "Your goal is to reach the center," the teacher said. "There, you will find the final chest. It holds a reward for those who prove they can survive, adapt, and lead. Remember, the universe does not forgive mistakes. Observe, plan, and act." The arena doors closed behind them with a loud clang. Immediately, drones attacked. Lily ducked behind a wall, scanning the area. She noticed patterns, weaknesses, and timing. Unlike most of the other students, she did not rely on speed alone. She calculated, watched, and moved carefully. Torin charged ahead, smashing drones with brute force. Kiri blocked attacks and helped smaller students who struggled. Lily stayed in the middle, using her blade not just to defend, but to manipulate the environment. She cut ropes holding platforms, swung chains to knock drones off balance, and tapped metal panels to create barriers. The arena itself became a weapon. Lava pools bubbled nearby and some platforms shook. Lily noticed that the drones reacted predictably to sound and movement. She used that to her advantage, luring them into traps she created. Suddenly, a massive drone with heavy armor appeared. It moved quickly despite its size, swinging a giant arm toward Torin. Lily shouted, "Watch the timing, step back when it pauses." Torin hesitated, then jumped aside, avoiding a crushing blow. Lily used the opportunity to swing her blade at a weak joint in the armor. Sparks flew. The metal did not break, but the joint loosened. Kiri moved in to distract the drone, blocking its attacks with her multiple arms. Lily signaled to Torin, who hit another weak point, causing the drone to stumble and crash into a molten pool. The team cheered quietly, but Lily knew there was no time to relax. The arena had more challenges ahead. They moved forward, navigating swinging platforms, narrow bridges, and walls with sharp spikes. Many students fell behind or panicked, but Lily stayed calm. She calculated each step, each jump, and each strike. She used her small size to slip through gaps and guide her team safely. A sudden collapse shook the arena. A tower fell, sending debris toward them. Torin pushed Kiri aside and Lily leapt onto a moving platform, cutting ropes to slow the falling debris. The team moved as one, relying on observation, timing, and trust. Finally, they reached the central chamber. The final chest glowed softly in the dim light. Mechanical drones circled it, more dangerous than any before. Lily's team paused to plan. "We cannot rush," she said. "We need a strategy. Strength alone will not win." They worked together. Torin distracted the drones with heavy attacks, drawing their attention. Kiri used her forearms to block and disarm smaller drones. Lily moved swiftly, using chains and platforms to redirect drones into each other. Step by step, inch by inch, they cleared a path to the chest. One drone, the largest yet, advanced toward Lily directly. It had sensors that could detect her movement. She stayed calm, focusing on its pattern. She noticed that when it swung, its sensors paused briefly. Timing was everything. When the moment came, she darted in, tapping her blade at a weak point in the armor. Sparks flew, metal bent, and the drone toppled. The chest was within reach. Lily and her team moved together and opened it. Inside were simple objects: a badge, a small crystal, and a message. The badge symbolized mastery. The crystal contained knowledge from past warriors across the galaxy. The message read, "Strength without intelligence is nothing. Intelligence without courage is nothing. Adapt, observe, survive." The teacher appeared, his eyes calm but sharp. "You have proven something remarkable. You are not the strongest nor the fastest, yet you have survived, adapted, and led. Humans are small, but your mind and courage can overcome any obstacle." Lily felt a surge of pride. She looked at her team. Torin, who had doubted her at first, smiled faintly. Kiri clapped her hands quietly, admiration in her eyes. Lily realized that she had done more than survive. She had inspired respect and proved that humans could compete and thrive in a universe of powerful beings. The other students gathered, some congratulating her, some still in disbelief. Lily's heart swelled. She had started as a small human girl, underestimated and doubted. Now she had shown that intelligence, courage, and adaptation could surpass brute strength. Later, back at the forge, Lily cleaned her blade carefully. She ran her fingers over its edge, remembering every challenge. Each obstacle had taught her something: patience, observation, teamwork, strategy. The universe was vast and dangerous, but she felt ready. She had learned to survive, to adapt, and to lead. That night she sat by a window looking at the twin moons. Stars twinkled in the alien sky. She thought about Earth, her home, and the journey that had brought her here. She knew there would be more challenges, more dangers, more opportunities to prove herself. But she also knew something important. Humans, though small, could leave a mark on any world. She held her blade close, feeling its weight and balance. It was more than a weapon now. It was a symbol of survival, cleverness, and courage. Tomorrow would bring new lessons, new challenges, and new battles. But tonight, Lily slept with the knowledge that she had succeeded where many had failed. She had proved that even the smallest human could survive and thrive in a universe full of giants. And as the stars glimmered above, Lily smiled, ready for whatever the future would bring. She was small, yes, but her mind, courage, and determination made her strong in ways others could not imagine. And in the vastness of space, that was enough to survive and to shine.